Hi, welcome to How to D&D. My name is Fred Wheeler and today I have John Shackle with me.
Hello everyone.
And we are going to talk about Dungeons & Dragons 5e and we're going to talk about Xanathar's Guide to Everything. And we're going to cover magic items, the common magic items which you can pay, and you can find them on page 136 of Xanathar's Guide to Everything. And there is a lot of very cool magic items. In fact, I'm going to go straight to the fact that if it isn't silly, funny, got a utility focus, there's certainly not much combat focus to any of these magic items. Some of them are just plain cool and got a lot of role play aspects to them.
Oh yeah.
Or they're just super weird. So I actually like these things. I actually think I would use them. Other dungeon masters would use them as well.
Well, as a player, I can definitely find a few uses for some of them in your games.
Right. So let's talk about some of my favourites, or at least some of the ones that we like. And I guess the first one, what was your favourite when you spotted this?
Oh, the first one would have to be the Armour of Gleaming.
Oh, what does that do?
It's an armour that never gets dirty. So for you murder hobos that like to go on carnage sprees, one less thing to worry about.
I think it's an appalling magic item. It's really, really funny. It's the sort of magic item that a DM might be giving out. It's got some flavour to it, but it's like it's a bit of a finger, really. It's a bit of a, yeah, okay, it doesn't get dirty. Oh dear. You don't have to clean my sword. I've got a sword of gleaming. But yeah, ones I liked was the boots of false tracks, where you can leave tracks, but they're not your tracks. They're going to be some other humanoid's tracks. So you can take the trail off you, or leave evidence or clues that somebody else has been up to no good rather than yourself. I thought that was quite.
Those damn goblins again.
Yeah. That was one of my favourites. And then the Candle of the Deep, which is essentially an underwater candle. So if you needed an underwater flare...
Hey, I can see so many good uses for that actually, because I mean normal light sources very rarely don't work underwater. So.
And Dungeons & Dragons 5e does not have the sun rod.
No.
Underwater candle. Get that Candle of the Deep. I thought that was great. And the one... I have to say the one that I think is the most birdish-like from the DM or from the creators of this game is the cast-off armour. So you can take any kind of armour type you like, and as an action you can take it off really fast. It is like the absolute opposite to what the players would want. You want to be able to get your armour on with one action rather than take it off. That's funny.
Yeah. Unless, you know, say you have some romantic love interest you may want to impress, you know. Quick strip, no problem.
Yeah.
Especially if it's plate armour.
Like the Bruce Almighty.
Yeah.
I thought that was hilarious. The Charlatan's Die. So loaded dice essentially, so you can go and gamble and make as much money as you like because you can control the outcome of the dice.
Yeah, just make sure you don't get caught.
Well, as long as you're the only one who can control it, who would ever know?
Oh, yeah.
That's right, that's right. And then the Cloak of Billowing. Yeah, do the Superman thing.
Yeah, as I said, literally a bonus action to make your cloak bellow like a superhero. I mean, who really doesn't want that for roleplay purposes?
Well, if it was to bellow, make a big noise, that would be useful, wouldn't it? But to billow, yeah, it's hilarious. I love it. I wouldn't pick it up and I wouldn't be impressed as a player, but it's funny. What about the Clockwork Amulet? So it looks like a clock probably. It sounds like a clock, but you get to take 10, or whatever you roll on your 20-sided dice is going to be a 10, rather than potentially anything lower than that. That's really useful. I thought that was cool.
Yeah. I mean, good for, as I said, making sure you don't miss.
Well, provided that a 10 is enough.
Yes.
And then the one that I thought was really funny, and particularly for characters who like to play warlocks or use intimidation, or a bard, or even a sorcerer who's into deception or intimidation. Oh, yeah. And that is the Dread Helm. So you're basically, you can have your eyes glow red, so you can scare NPCs or maybe even the players.
I can imagine a certain half-orc fighter that would be happy with that item.
What about the enduring spellbook? You finally have a spellbook that's immune to fire, water, and aging process.
But not thieves.
No, it can still get stolen, but it's a cool item. I thought it was quite nice. Oh, this one is just the most ludicrous thing under the sun, and that is the Hat of Vermin. So you can summon either a bat, a frog, or a rat, and the first thing it's going to try to do is escape you. You've got no control over it whatsoever.
Yeah. that is definitely a middle finger to the players for a DM point of view, that one.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, you get to summon a familiar that runs away straight away.
Yeah, it's not a familiar. It's just an annoyance. It is just a hat of creating vermin. So.
Yeah.
Then what the Dark Shard and the Hat of Wizardry were very similar. Basically allows you to cast a cantrip. The Dark Shard amulet allows you from the Warlock list, and you have to be a Warlock to be able to attune to this. And the Hat of Wizardry only used by wizards, and it allows you to cast a cantrip from the wizard list.
Yeah. Can be useful. I mean, it's only once a day kind of thing. Well, it's once per long rest. But I mean, especially I know a few wizards that don't have certain spells, and every so often you may want to have that one spell for a certain situation. That's a perfect example to have the hat. I actually think for a common magical item for those classes, specifically those classes, I think they're actually pretty good.
Yeah. And then we get the Horn of Silent Alarm. So only one creature within 600 feet can actually hear it when you blow on it. So that'll certainly be useful. I think you were mentioning something about the rogue?
Yeah, especially because you know how you always want to send the rogue off, or the rogue wants to be sent off by himself to scout out ahead. If the rest of the party is just standing there and gets attacked, hey, we can call the rogue back, no problem. Yeah. And no one else hears it.
Well, also too, if you're off on your own and you get into trouble, you can blow it, alert somebody else in your party that you've designated within 600 feet, and you don't give away your position to the entire castle if you're in the middle of a castle.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so I thought it had some useful aspects to it. This is like a really nasty DM trick, this one. The Lock of Trickery.
Oh yeah.
So
the bane of rogues.
Yeah. So you're going to get disadvantage on dexterity checks to try to pick this lock, which I just think is just absolutely awesome. I want all of my locks to be locks of trickery now.
You would too.
Yeah. What about the Moon Touched Sword? A sword with built-in light source, essentially.
Yeah. I think it's a pretty good one. I mean, it's a bright light 15 feet, dim light 15 feet. The only downside is you can't turn the light off, so there is that problem. But I mean, for people that don't have 3 arms and have a shield and a sword, and if you're human, it definitely gets rid of the whole I can't see in the dark thing.
Yeah, I've created a magic item like this specifically for human characters, so I thought it was quite nice. It was good. What about the Perfume of Bewitching? For 1 hour, have advantage on charisma checks. I can see this being really handy. This is really, well, if you want to get down and dirty, if you want to entice the local barmaid.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you just really want to...
Or maybe, want to try and get out of jail.
Yeah, maybe. I think it has a lot of role play aspects to it. Certainly a lot of utility to it. It's really funny.
There's one that I will probably add, and especially in our game that we had very recently. One of our players says, "What time is it, Fred?" And in game, and we're like, "Well, I wonder what time it is." The Orb of Time would help with that situation.
Yeah.
Pretty much tells you what the time is within reason.
Yeah, so you have your own watch.
Yeah.
I like this one, the Pipe of Smoke Monster. So it allows you to blow smoke out and form it into monsters or creatures. So it's really doing like the Gandalf thing from Lord of the Rings. Now, I think that's quite cool.
Yeah.
How useful it will be, but it's still cool.
Can't forget the pole of angling, especially when you want to go fishing in the middle of combat.
So you've got a pole that can be turned into a
fishing pole.
What's the point? The pole could just be a fishing pole anyway.
Yeah, but it turns into an actual fishing rod, with the tack and angling and all that other stuff. So, you can be a master fisherman while you're adventuring.
Yeah.
You don't have to carry 2 poles at once.
Right, you don't have to have your 10-foot pole plus your fishing rod as well. I like this one quite a lot, and that is the pole of collapsing. So easy storage for that 10-foot pole, goes down to 1-foot rod size, and you can stash it away easy. And if you're inclined, you can extend it. Well, only extend as far as the space allows, but you can make yourself your own pull-up bar, or maybe some way of jam it into a hole and then use it for pulling yourself up a rock wall, something like that.
Yeah, as I said, there's multiple uses for that, I think.
This one cracked me up. So the pot of awakening. So basically you create or grow a pet shrub, an awakened pet shrub that is your personal friend, so you can talk to your own veggies. It is hilarious.
Yeah, that could be definitely a good player annoyance thing there.
Dear, these magic items, they crack me up. They're really funny. And then we get the rope of mending, hempen rope that repairs itself on command.
Which is good, because I know there is a certain couple of spells that require certain amounts of length of rope, and I mean, instead of carrying around little bits of rope you can just have this one rope, cut it up, use it, command it back together, and hey, you've got your own good rope again. Yeah, well, that's the thing with rope trick, right? You don't want your rope to be too long, otherwise you're going to climb the entire length of the rope to get to the extra dimensional space, so you want to trim it up. But it's all right. Ruby of War Mage. So make a weapon your spellcasting focus. I think that's pretty useful, particularly for hex blades.
Hex blades, Pact of the Blade. If you're a warlock, anybody who just decides that they want to make their spellcasting focus a weapon. And then what have we got? The Staff of Bird Calls. Your ability to entice birds to you by creating bird calls. I think that's just going to create like a poo magnet, really. You're going to be covered in birds and probably bird poo. What about the talking doll? So you create the appearance that you have a possessed toy doll.
I see this and I keep thinking of Chucky. I'm sorry, but that is every time I read that, I think of that.
Or the dolls that you found in Curse of Strahd from Blinsky. This is my absolutely favourite, and that is the tankard of sobriety. So you never get drunk or smashed again. You can drink from it. Doesn't matter what it is, put whatever you put in the tankard, drink it, and you're sweet.
Yeah, there's a certain character that I can think you could give that to in our games.
Yes, yeah. Yeah, you can't get drunk anymore. What about the Veteran's Cane? So a bonus action to make a walking cane into a sword. Sort of reminds me a little bit of Moriarty from the Sherlock Holmes stories, or even Sherlock Holmes, who sort of carried a cane, but it was actually a sword.
Yeah, the only downside with that item is it's a one use. You can't turn it back into a cane once you turn it into a sword.
Yeah, that is a bit of a bump. Yeah. Then there's the Wand of Scowls. There's also a Wand of Smiles, and basically you use it on a humanoid to make them scowl, or smile. It is really, really weird. It's as strange as it's very funny.
I can see mages having fun with that one.
Yeah, it's just to want to mess with people. That's really what it's for. It's just to mess with people. Is there anything else that you saw within the common magic items that you liked?
Well, as I said, I think a lot of them are role play. There's a few that, as I said, I like the Robe of Mending. I liked the thought of the Moon-Touched Sword. There was another one that I thought was pretty funny, the Staff of Flowers. Yeah, it's a staff, you can pick flowers. Could be useful. But personally, I for a roleplay purpose, the Pole of Angling, I think of that, and the Cloak of Bellowing. Especially when you're finished doing your murder hobo spree with your armour of gleaming, and you can stand on the top of the pile of bodies, and with your heroic pose, and your cloak is bellowing away.
I think it's really simple ideas, and most of it's none of it's really overpowered.
No.
Not at all, not even remotely. It's either lots of fun effects, either silly, funny, amusing, some utility. DMs are more likely to use this simply because they aren't overpowered and they've got those sort of aspects to it. I would use them, and also it would make the game quite a lot more interesting. I actually think it's a good addition. It's one of the favourite parts of this book for me.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I don't think there's anything else I need to say, although the only issue I would say is I think some players will find some of these magic items underwhelming, significantly underwhelming. Yeah.
I would think if they're new players, I think they wouldn't, but veterans would probably be more like, wow, really? Because they're probably used to, the high artifact gains. I mean, new players, they would love this kind of stuff.
Yeah, you won't need to use that wand of scowling. They'll be scowling at you quite a lot, I imagine. So look, if you found this video helpful or informative, please share it and like the video. If you have not already subscribed, then hit that subscribe button. And beside the subscribe button, there's also a bell button to notify you when I go live, and I do a lot of live streams, or when I publish a new video on YouTube. If you want to support my channel, then watch more of my videos. And if I don't do I don't do Patreon, but down in the description you'll find affiliate links, buy stuff online, pay exactly the same price as you normally would, and I get a small commission, so I like that. And if you have any questions, I'm sure we can answer those down in the comments section if you want. And thank you, John, for your help.
That's what I'm here for.
And until next time, keep rolling those 20s.
See ya.